Hi all, this is Les Posen, Fear of Flying clinical psychologist here in Melbourne, Australia. It's the third week of March. Last week, the Northern Hemisphere, or at least North America, went on to daylight saving. We are still on daylight saving, so for one of the first times, the Northern and the Southern Hemispheres here are on daylight saving. We go off daylight saving in 2 weeks' time, the first weekend of April. Well, here we are, coronavirus everywhere. Here in Australia, we are being locked down in various cities, being asked to keep our distance of 2.5 metres from the next person in a restaurant, in a public place, limiting people on beaches like Bondi to only 500 people per time on Bondi Beach because people abused the notion of keeping distant. It's a troubling time. It's a very anxious time. Interesting enough, for fear of flying people, it's a very interesting time. Before I go much further, I want to roll my list of new subscribers. Thank you very much for coming on board and being part of my little fraternity here. I hope you've gone off and had a look at some of the other videos, apart from the one that may have attracted you to this website in the first place. Well, this video site, probably the one that gets most hits and is most popular and gets pushed the most by YouTube in its algorithm is the one about suspending planes in jelly. Where's my little plane? So something about putting this in a thing of jelly and bouncing around and me sniffing at it, which seems to appeal to many people. There have been a number of comments, I want to say this, a number of comments where people have said, no, it's not jelly, it's Jello. Well, let me point out to you that Jello is a very American term. It's actually a brand name. Jelly for you guys is what we call in Australia jam, a spreadable fruit conserve. You call it jelly, we call it jam. In Australia, jam must be 50% sugar to be called jam. Otherwise it's known as a conserve. Here in Australia we call it jelly. Here is jelly. This is a very famous aeroplane jelly. That's the brand name. And it's called Jelly Light. In this case, it's low sugar. It's sweetened with other things. So that's how I made that little model using jelly. It's actually short for gelatin, which is the main ingredient in these things. Yeah, you can see ingredients: gelatin, beef origin, sweeteners, and it gives you the numbers, acidity regulator, flavor, color, contains sulfites. So that's where you get the term jelly, gelatin, beef origin. Anyway, please, no more references to Jell-O, okay? But I don't mind you talking about aeroplane jelly. That's a bit of fun. Now, these videos are going to take a little bit of a turn as we progress through March and as this virus situation continues. I'm going to be introducing other sorts of material into this website. So those of you who come along for Fear of Flying, you might find that there are other things, if you've subscribed, other things where I'm going to be teaching psychologists how to use Skype and how to use telehealth, and because there's now an opportunity in Australia for members of the public who've been referred by GPs to someone like me can be bulk billed, which means they pay nothing, no copay, no nothing, to receive counselling as long as they are in a particular category of at-risk person. So because YouTube does not allow you to have two channels, each of which is independently monetized, you can only have one. You have many channels, but only one can be monetized. That's the rules at this moment. That may change. In order for me to pay my bills, you will find other videos will start to appear here. If this is not your interest, don't panic. Just have a look at them. Have a look at the ads for a moment, and then just click through. Don't worry, there'll be other things about Fear of Flying that will come into the mix as well if you're a subscriber. Now, we're in interesting times for Fear of Flying because many of you might be experiencing something that I observed after September 11, 2001. People like me in the business of helping people like you overcome their fear of flying found that the number of of people interested in coming to see us. And this is worldwide, because of the effect of worldwide of the changes in aeroplane flying. Our referrals dropped down, and the reason people were not interested in coming to see us wasn't just because, well, what's the point? Because we can't fly anyway, which is what we're about to find out here in Australia and in North America as well, and in Europe, that the number of flights are going to go like this. So it's not that I can't fly because there's not enough flights to take. It's more that it's perfectly justifiable to be afraid to fly, to be afraid to leave home, to not be able to leave home, to go into a plane worrying about, will I contract something here? Different fear than what presented after 9/11, which is, will it be taken over again? What will happen to me? Is flying safe? So we're entering that phase once more, 20 years later almost, of fear of flying being justified. In fact, it doesn't feel strange at all to be fearful of many things apart from flying. So that said, if you are having some work, you're working on fear of flying, do not give up in these next few months while the opportunity to fly starts to decrease, or the need to fly starts to decrease. Okay? Don't sort of say, oh, I'm relieved now. Now I don't have to. Bad move. I want you to keep working on your anxiety, and I'm going to be talking about all sorts of other anxieties apart from fear of flying, because they have very common elements. And so I want you to not give up, to keep on working, to use the available materials, the YouTube videos that I have and a variety of other things, to keep practicing and to work on it, because A, it'll give you a goal to work on. If you can't be at work, what else are you going to do? You're going to be at home watching YouTube and whatever else. So here's a chance for you to work on things, and that's how I'm going to start to ship my videos, so that you can do things at home using the available materials that which you can easily access and practice certain things about how to self-regulate. And you will find these things really useful to help you manage your anxiety in general, to work on things like panic and losing the plot and loss of composure and just general worrying about what's going on. So we need to understand what's happening there. So you'll find that lots of the things I'm going to be talking about, and the things I'll be talking about to my colleagues in psychology about getting them started on using Skype and FaceTime and Zoom, you'll find very useful as well. So just have a look at it and you'll find it really interesting. I'll also be talking about things like this, which this is the Oculus Go, and I'll talk another time about the Oculus Quest. I think it's a really good idea to think about investing in something like this in order to be able to practice some of the exposure techniques I'm going to talk to you about in other videos about fear of flying, fear of other things like heights or whatever else, but also as a way just to escape, just to bug out, especially those of you who are isolated. In Australia, by the way, if you come into Australia, you're an Australian coming into Australia off a ship, off a plane, you have to self-isolate. You have to quarantine yourself. You're not allowed to leave your home, except if it's on medical business or urgent purchases of something, for 14 days. I'll put up now, this is the information sheet one of my patients gave me, or emailed me, which he was given 2 days ago from this recording, 2 days ago, which everyone getting off a ship or off a plane is given about how to, because you must self-isolate. In some countries, by the way, they're actually tracking you to see if you're leaving home. Seriously. In Australia, we're not doing that. So it's a bit too laissez-faire for my liking. That may change. This is very volatile. So the Oculus Go you can order from Amazon. They're in stock. The Quest has come back into stock. So it's worth thinking about, just to pass the time, and we're going to start to meet in VR too. This is the next thing that this is the positive, if there is one, that will come from this, is that we're going to have to start to use these new technologies in ways that we hadn't thought about before. Anyway, so I just want to mention that to say hello to you again. I'm here, I'm healthy, I'm well. I hope you are. Send me some comments in the section to say what you've been up to, how you're passing the time, what you're doing, if you're in Australia or North America or in Europe, and any questions about flying, but also in general, any questions about how to manage anxiety, because that's where I'm going to go in the next couple of videos. So I hope it's good to have made touch with you, to let you know that things are progressing. I haven't forgotten about you, and as it turns out, because I'm doing more telehealth and I'm not going to be seeing people face to face very much at all, because I'm in a risk group, because of my health situation, I can't see people very much at all anymore face to face. So it's all going to be by the way I'm talking to you. So expect more videos. And so what I want to use is your input from those videos. I have lots of ideas I want to put out there. So I hope that's useful for you. I'll be back probably another one before the end of March, and we'll speak again soon. So keep well, look after yourself, look after your families, look after your pets. They're going to be there all the time for you because they have no idea what's going on, and they will always be there for you if you treat them well. All right. Speak to you soon. Bye for now.